Welcome in. This is your odds checker betting preview for the Hero World Challenge. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there, Geoff Fienberg. Geoff, this is a unique event, 20-player field, no cut. It's Tiger's event, and the big cat had himself a little press conference on Tuesday morning. Just real quick, it's always different when Tiger attaches his name, his face, his likeness, and his presence to a golf tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And, we've always thought that Genesis will sort of become his Bay Hill for Arnie or Jack's Memorial, or I think Riviera. The sponsors can always change. But this is a nice little, as he liked to put it, a hit and giggle. It's fun to see a lot of superstars come out. And I think come Sunday, like any chance to win a trophy, be handed a trophy from Tiger Woods, getting with a photo op, I think, we'll have all these guys sort of chasing it, let alone the free cash grab and beautiful accommodations. But it's a hit and giggle. A few guys will be feeling it. And it was great to see Tiger. And he seems like he's in a good and healthy place. And I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Rooting for Tiger to continue his rehab, get back out there. The 3-second swing video that broke the internet tells you how excited everybody is for it. But Geoff, we've got 20 golfers, no cut, basically the smallest field we ever get, right? The Tour Championship, that's 30. So how do we go about assessing only a 20-person field? And then how does that impact the size of our betting card for this week?
You got to really love something, I guess, to make a big play here, because there are so many variables, let alone, I guess, the win probability is raised with only 20 guys. The field is hard, though. So, there's so many ways I fight this in my head. This is just, I don't know, Rick. I'm not going that hard. It's hard to sort of separate the guys at the top and separate intentions around a holiday. What are guys here to do? It is a hit and giggle. Certain guys do thrive maybe in those environments more than others. It's also a course we've been to a lot, but my units won't be that high. I plan on betting. I've got money on 2 guys, and I need you to talk me into a third pretty much here, Rick.
All right, let's see if we can find some of those guys here. Here's the betting board. This is via Odds Checker, the grid that makes sure you're getting the best line across the industry, because there are some rather significant discrepancies. Let's start at the top. I think there's a clear tier 1. It's Colin Morikawa at 8-1, Rory McIlroy also at 8-1, both of those via PointsBet, and then I'll lump in JT, Justin Thomas, and Victor Hovland here, who you can get both of those guys at 11-1. Geoff, you mentioned it. It's difficult to start to split hairs at the top. These are the best players in the field with the best odds to win. Is there a bet to be made here at the top of the board?
I haven't pulled the trigger here yet. I guess I could be talked into any of them. I have kind of saved myself a bet closer to the top, as the bets I've already made are sort of closer to the back end or back half, I guess, of the 20-man field, Rick. My question to you is, does course history, have people come here the first time and won? Like, should I be staring down Victor? Because I love Victor in any circumstance, but This does feel like it's more of a tactical course than it gets credit for.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a debutante that has won. Now, we've only done it 5 times, and obviously the guys that are really, really good have probably played this event before. I do think that you need to know where and when to miss, because it's kind of one of these situations where if you miss the fairway and you're kind of in those sandy areas that we've seen some guys be in, that's an extra layer of kind of luck of the draw, Geoff. You don't know what you're going to get yourself into if you're playing out of these sandy spots. You can kind of get into some difficult lies. So I do think there's a tactical component to it. I'll make the general FOMO Victor bet most weeks, but I actually truly think that Justin Thomas is the guy here at the top. He starts to lay the blueprint like he does. He's back to being one of the best approach players on the planet. You're always going to battle the putter, but JT feels very much on the verge of victory, and I doubt there are guys as motivated to get a trophy from Tiger on Sunday than his best bud, JT.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make a joke that, like, it's a definitive gap between who I think sucks up or, like, sucks up to Tiger the most on tour. JT's a clear number one, but obviously there is a friendship there. And you are right. He does seem like that guy. For me, after I disqualify Victor, who I don't know, like you, we have this like co-love affair with the guy, and you've got almost like a pen pal relationship with him now, which is amazing. And I guess he's humble enough to be friends with a guy like
it's
you.
crazy,
right?
isn't it? I know. What a world we live in.
That's part of the best part of Victor. JT is just the biggest odds of those three. Morikawa won a nice event at like 7-8 to 1 a couple weeks ago in Europe. So you can never discount him. Rory's hot, but if I was picking from here, it would just be getting the best number. And you are right. We are seeing the form. We are seeing the form start from Justin as he bowed out late in an event that I took a lot of heat on the internet for. But I don't know. To me, that just shows it's all starting to click. And with Justin, I don't know, it's exhibition season. So it's kind of like he's really hot this time of year. You know, and there's 12-year-old boys. You better not be showing up to take some 12-year-old's trophy at the father-son challenge. I still think that's unfair, Rick. I still think, like, come on, you're the third-ranked player in the world. You're gonna go show up in a no comment. I'm stopping. I've said it before.
He's got to defend his title. You know that. Okay. Next tier of this betting board. This is where things start to get really interesting because there's a lot of big names here at longer odds. Includes Bryson DeChambeau, Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, all at 14 to 1. And then you get Sam Burns and Scotty Scheffler at 16. And I'll round out this tier with Tony Finau at 18 to 1. So this is where maybe you get a couple more question marks compared to the guys at the top, Geoff, but some pretty enticing odds if there's a name in here that really catches your attention.
Okay, so I did bet Tony Finau. I missed the 20s. I caught 18. I should have bet the 20. I thought about it, and then friend across the pond posts it, and he moves numbers, literally. So those are gone. I still like 18 here for Tony. I think he sets up well for a hit and giggle. He's been here twice, a 10th, but I keynote on the second place finish. So he's the guy, the shortest bet that I have made already. I will tell you, I'm very interested in what Xander Schauffele's been up to, though, Rick. It seems like we're one more day of people not betting on Xander until we get pretty much his exact major price of like 16 to 1. And you can argue there's some books that put him here 14 for majors. We make fun of him for not winning. He never wins the right events. Wouldn't, like Olympics in terms of checking off the calendar. This would be another asterisk-filled, perfect Xander makes sense victory. So yeah, I don't know. He's won in Hawaii. I know that's not the Tournament of Champions, but it's very much hit and giggle, same sort of field mindset event, free payday. So he's a guy I'm looking at because I do think in seeing this long range, he represents potentially the most value to me at 14. And I think we see a 16 because I don't know anyone mentioning his name.
Yeah, you're right. This is a number that we could get on him at a major, and here we are in a 20-man field, no-cut event that he's played well in his career. Those types of events. I agree with you. I will warm on Xander as we kind of get closer to this thing kicking off on Thursday morning, just for all of the reasons that you mentioned. I still think there's a bit of a chip on his shoulder to just win more often. This one would not quiet us, the critics, about what type of event it's going to be. But at 14 to 1, now with Victor getting shorter than him, Colin significantly shorter than him, we're starting to get priced into Xander Schauffele in a pretty significant way. The 20s. Here are names, Geoff, that we don't often get. Well, I guess we do get them in this price range, but compared to their peers, they're longer than you would expect. Daniel Berger, Abraham Answer, Webb Simpson at 20. Brooks Koepka, 25 to 1, along with Matt Fitzpatrick. And then the 28 is Justin Rose. You have Terrell Hatton, Patrick Reed, and I round out the rest of this group with Harris English and Henrik Stenson. What do you see out of the bottom of this field?
Well, I bet Patrick Reed.
Yeah.
And I was one of those quick to act. I got a 40. There were some books posting last week.
I got 35. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people were alerting. I'm like, did he lose an arm? He's got such a great record here. I don't even mind the 30s that are still out there. And as we sort of joked through the whole fall, I'm kind of on this evergreen Reed. And he comes here like not to hit and giggle.
No.
he's never picking up a club to hit and giggle. So he's got a different mindset, which I guess in this field, you're like banking on the ceiling and getting at a price that you see him in full man fields, in decent ones. So that one just rang to me. And to the straight, like hardcore spreadsheet gambler, if they play this event 30 times, Patrick Reed would win one of them.
Right.
Like you couldn't probably convince me otherwise. So I do see on that like logic of betting, he represents true real value in that regard. In terms of 4 days or how many, it's actually 4 days, right?
It is actually 4 days.
Okay,
yes.
just making sure, you never know. It can be hard to quantify. All the other guys, like a lot of love for Webb. It makes total sense. I could see Berger in a total different sense, but the way Rory was very upset with how he played at the Ryder Cup, it seemed like so much of USA was so happy with how they played, but not Berger. So I could see him sort of carrying that, wanting to, defend his selection on that team. And Brooks, a lot of people running to bet Brooks. Listen, own it. Dead wrong. Maybe if we did our video last week on Wednesday or Thursday, I wouldn't have been as confident in the Bryson thing. But on the Monday, it was just such a like new equipment, yada yada. There was like just too many boxes checking. But I never like being on one side of anything. One thing I know about Brooks Koepka, he's not here to win a hit and giggle. There's 20 guys in this field. Brooks is going to make sure he goes up. Well, Bryson's one of them. Brooks is going to make sure time. He's got a checklist. I'm going to go up to each one of these guys and joke about how I beat Bryson, that jabroni's ass, to shreds on Thursday. Like, I'm going to go up to every one of them, like in person, like, and giggle about how I stomp face this guy. Like, that's what he's literally there to share anecdotal moments about beating the shit out of Bryson with all the elite players in the world. I don't think he has a care in the world to win. It's there to make fun of Bryson with the other elites about just beating his ass.
This could be a victory lap week for him. I'm certainly. I like so I kind of quantify it like this. I think I like the position for Daniel Berger. I like the position for Webb Simpson. I like it for Matt Fitzpatrick as well. Can they win? That's kind of where I start to scratch my head a little bit and probably stay closer to the top of the board and live with my JTs and my Sam Birds and my Patrick Reeds. Those are the three that I have on my card right now, Jeff, and I might just roll into Thursday morning with that card.
Yeah, so I don't mind that at all. And Sam Burns is a guy we didn't talk about. You're always holding him close to the vest, Rick, but he's been like a secret weapon for you. And it's crazy. Like, I might go to bed tonight and wake up Xander having the same odds. And listen, I get there's a whole ton of people that watch and that do what we do. Like, they'll just make fun of, well, Burns wins and Xander doesn't. That's still like a mind trip. I don't care. Like, it's still a mind trip to like go 365 days later and Sam Burns is here. Like, this is another check mark for this guy. He didn't make the Ryder Cup, but the fact he got fitted for Ryder Cup clothing with the potential of making the Ryder Cup and had to reserve tickets, like, is a win for Sam Burns. Like, the guy just keeps, oh my God, now he's invited to every tournament as we start the next year. You might win a lot more and lose a lot more on Burnsy going forward. I like that. I don't have the balls to pick it though, surrounding those group of players, but yeah, like, there's a hyper motivation there that you might want to lean into in betting on a hit and giggle. Before we leave, I need your take on Rose. Seeing a lot of people excited to back him. If like prop markets, I could totally see like a top 5. I don't see him winning, but it's a big number. He showed a bit of life and he lives here. So there's a lot of like narrative street to Rose that we want to go with.
I am not a Rose guy in general. And I've watched and I've watched it for sure. And I've watched the metrics be unsustainable for him for a really long time. I will say a couple of things. He's been better recently. He's not been as reliant on the putter. His T12 at the RSM, he gained strokes in all 4 categories. When you get a well-rounded event like that, it's usually a very good sign moving forward. You get to go to a place that not only you're very, very, very familiar with, but you've had success at. I probably do start to draw the line at winning, Geoff, but I will have exposure to Rose probably in some in matchup markets, maybe a top 5. That a number that's hanging out there, but it's still a tough ask for him to win this event, I believe.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I like him as well. And, sometimes with the internet nowadays, I'm forced to live the bit and a gimmick that I have with him, but I don't mind him at all. In terms of where he could be hyper popular, but I don't know if he shows life. It's his backyard. He's filmed plenty of Morgan Stanley commercials on this golf course.
That's right. That's right. He's paid the bills in more ways than one. That's Geoff Fienberg. You can find him on Twitter at gfienberg17. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been your odds checker betting preview for the Hero World Challenge. Good luck.